Hello, fellow gamers. As part of my one-part series on hot games of the past, today we will be covering one of the most popular combat games ever created, chess. Step 1. Find a friend. This may be the most difficult step for many people, including me. You may find your friend hiding inside the couch cushions, pretending he or she doesn't notice you, or perhaps in one of various bird cages in the surrounding area. On the rare occasion that you do finally find a friend, proceed to Step 2. Step 2. Set up the board. Before playing, you may want to ensure that you are on dry land instead of in the middle of the ocean. If you are in the middle of the ocean, you have bigger problems to worry about than your chess. Although if you are in Step 2, at least you have a friend to accompany you in the strandedness. Assuming you are on dry land, set up the game board. A typical chessboard contains between 1 and 100 squares. I forget how many. Please place the board on a flat surface in an area that is not typically prone to earthquakes. The earthquakes may knock over your pieces, and then you will have to start over. Step 3. Know the characters. Unlike many other board games, chess has lovable characters that are ready to love you, making it particularly devastating when you lose one of them. Let's run by the characters one by one. The supreme leader of your chessboard. His job is to pretend he is in charge while everyone does the dirty work for him. He is so fat that he can barely move, ever, and his greasy Cheeto dust-covered face is so revolting to even the other team that they don't want to get near him, and he is often one of the last to die in the slaughter. Rumor has it she used to be a pawn, who we will talk about later, but the king always needs a queen, and he is especially attracted to ladies who returned from the abyss beyond the board, which is of course where all queens come from. The Padre has one particularly irritating quirk, in that he is selectively colorblind. The only color he can see is the color of the square he starts on, and the other squares aren't visible to him, so he is convinced that if he steps on one of them, he might just fall off. This is my favorite character, if only because it is the least human of any of them. But horses are also idiots, which is why they stumble around drunkenly and can only end up in an extremely arbitrary square that seems to be the combination between every direction you could tell it to go. They are the most boring of the group, possibly because they are buildings instead of living creatures. However, I've only seen one other castle in my life that could slide along the ground, so I'll give them a pass. They're too stupid to turn around and retreat, but just when they're face to face with the enemy and ready to take them down, they wuss out and can't do it. Their only meaningful purpose is to get to the other side of the board without anyone noticing because they are so short, at which point they perform a sketchy ritual and turn into a queen. Step 4. Playing the game. The goal of chess is simple. Brutally massacre as many opponents as you can. At least, that's my goal. If you actually want to play the game right, which isn't exactly thrilling, I guess you could protect El Presidente, but I hate that guy and his stupid greasy face anyway, so why would I want to protect him? Soon as chance I get, I sacrifice him to the other team, so the rest of my people can work on the bloodbath ahead, free of restrictions. However, my opponent claims he wins the instant my stupid, entitled king kicks the bucket, at which point I flip the chessboard and proclaim myself the ultimate victor. Step 5. Alternate ways to play. For many of us American Gen Z kids, playing chess the normal way is comparable to being tied to a chair for 3 days with only a grey wall to look at. So here are a few ways to spice it up. Number 1. The instant the game begins, all your characters realize what an awful leader your king is and demote him to a pawn, stacking up a castle and horsey to create the most honest and likable of successors. The best way to demote your king is to snip off its head with scissors, but this tends to really get on the nerves of the opponent, so this is only for advanced players. Number 2, make the game very fast by making everyone a king, so that the first time someone dies, the game is over and you can go back to scrolling through TikTok for 4 hours. Number 3, you and your opponent reach a peace treaty and stroll out into the world together, hand in hand, looking for other chess players to add to your beautiful, war-free, magical chess kingdom. In conclusion, chess is one of the top board games in history because of its diverse character base and the intensely cocky feeling you get when you win a game, even if your opponent hasn't yet learned how to spell their name. On a scale of 1 to 3, I give it a 2 for being the second easiest game to create and play if you are lost in the wilderness with only an indispensable store of duct tape at your disposal, behind only rock, paper, scissors. Just ask Adam and Jamie. And please ignore the borders of my animation studio. I'm an amateur and have much to learn in the ways of simple computer programs, and thank you.